I put myself through college and everything, right? So I didn't have a good relationship with my mom. Unfortunately, I don't have like much of a connection with my family. For the most part, I've kind of had to take care of myself. And I just had this gravitation towards education and knowledge. That kind of just was my motivator to sort of like escape the environment I was in, because it was such a toxic environment.
Okay.
That I was like, okay, I know that education will get me out of there.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi, and welcome to the Nomad Summit Podcast. And normally Christoph is here with me, but today it's only me and my guest Daycia.
Hello.
Isn't that crazy about Christoph?
I know. I can't believe it. A motorcycle accident?
Yeah, so I got a message from Christoph like an hour ago saying I won't be able to make it. And it was actually a video he sent me with him and his arm in a sling, saying, yeah, I kind of broken my elbow and that was all he said, so I won't be able to make it. But I'm sure you'll do fine. It's like, yeah. Of course, but tell me more.
Yeah, I didn't know more.
So poor Christoph, and by the time this one comes out, I'm sure he's totally fine, but he told me that he was on his scooter on his last day here in Chiang Mai, and somebody walked out straight in front of him, and he had to brake so hard that he fell off the bike and, as he put it, shattered his elbow. He fell off the bike and landed on the elbow.
Oh my
and he
God.
said, well, thank God it was close to the hospital, so I just walked over there and...
He walked himself over?
Yeah. And he said, come back later today, I think, and we'll need to do surgery.
Oh my
God. So Daycia, he's not here, but it's you and me.
It's unfortunate, but I'm glad at least he's okay for the most part. You know, he's alive.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God for that. On that cheerful note, welcome to the Nomad Summit Podcast.
Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Hi, Daycia.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. It's our jingle. It says that. So.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah. So you're a nomad. You're from the U.S.?
From the U.S.
Ohio?
Yeah, so I'm from Ohio, and a lot of people don't know where that is. So a lot of times when people, other Americans especially, if they think of Ohio, they think of cornfields, but that's not...
We're in the Midwest.
It's in the Midwest. I don't live in cornfields, though. I'm from a city. So I'm from a city called Cincinnati.
Yeah, let's just wait until the ambulance is coming to pick up Christoph.
Yeah. It's so hard. It's an emergency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm from Cincinnati. So, it's a city. It's not, I think it's like maybe the second largest city in Ohio.
So I remember from my youth, because I worked in radio, and one of my favorite TV shows, you're way too young to remember that.
Okay.
But there was a TV show about a radio station in Cincinnati. WKRP in Cincinnati.
That was a TV show?
Yeah.
I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, WKRP.
Oh, wait, why does it sound kind of familiar, though?
And it was a sitcom, and it was super funny, and then it had that radio aspect with the DJ and the news guy and the manager. It was so cool. So that's how I know Cincinnati. I do believe I passed through. Mostly because I wanted to see what Cincinnati looked like, because I don't remember that.
You're like, I've seen the TV show, now I have to know what it's like in person. Yeah.
But I've been to Toledo and in that whole region, and actually that whole part of the U.S. looks a lot like where I come from with the cornfields.
Yeah, Toledo's definitely more country, but thankfully for me, I didn't really grow up around cornfields. I grew up more like in a city.
How big is Cincinnati?
So Cincinnati is about 300,000 people.
Okay.
So,
it's a decent size. It's not too small, but it's not too big.
Exactly.
If it's too small, it's like everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, and it's too country.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice where it's like, it's still a city where you get all the city aspects of it. So, we have like transportation, but at the same time, it's not huge where it's like super spread out like New York, for example.
And you have some culture and...
we have a lot of culture, Cincinnati's very famous for chili.
What?
For chili.
I know the spice.
The
chili?
spice chili.
Is that what you were talking about?
No. So here, I'll show you actually. So chili, I guess maybe it's an American dish. They also have it in like Mexico. They call it chili con carne.
Oh yeah, chili con carne. I know that. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we don't say chili con carne in the U.S.
Okay.
But we just call it chili. But Cincinnati is actually really famous for chili because our secret ingredient in our chili is chocolate. Mm-hmm. And usually people are like, chocolate and chili. But actually, it's really good. Mm-hmm. And then we're famous for like cheese coney, which is like a little hot dog with chili on top.
Oh, yeah.
And cheese. Have you had it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ringing a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good, so.
So is it a rough city? Is it a safe city? What kind of city is it?
I think for me growing up, I didn't feel like it was really rough, but it's not. I guess it kind of has like sort of a negative reputation. I think about 20 years ago, maybe when I was a kid, I think people thought it was kind of like a rough city. A lot of tensions between like the poor and the rich, but I feel like nowadays it's good. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up, I didn't really feel scared.
No.
So
what brought you from there to where you are today? Take me on your life journey.
Life journey. Okay, it's very long. But I guess I could start by saying so I grew up in Cincinnati and it was just my mom and I. But my mom was usually out working a lot. We also didn't necessarily have like a good relationship. So for me, I actually really liked studying, and hitting the books was kind of like, I don't know, maybe it could be like in a form of escape, but I think more so it's just like a place for me to feel like safe and comfortable. So I loved going to the library. I know, very nerdy, but I guess this is before smartphones. So, what else are you going to do? There's really
Was it to learn or was it fiction?
Just to learn. So yeah, so I would just walk around a library, and Cincinnati Library is actually like very famous. It's like one of the best top libraries in all of the U.S. And so it's huge. And I used to go to the travel section, and I'm like maybe like 8, 9, 10, like I'm young, but I become amazed by all these different travel books. And I pick up one about Japan because I'm very curious about Japan at this time. I think because I was also doing martial arts, and our teacher, our sensei, would even have us like speak in Japanese. So I was like, okay, I'm very curious about Japan. So I would usually go to the library and I would pick up these books about Japan, and I would just read about Japan pretty much all day long. And I kind of had this like weird like obsession or fascination with Japan. And so like when I would go back home, we have dial up and go on the computer. I would even like try to find like Japanese websites. I would like download Japanese music. I guess this is like early 2000s. And yeah, I just became like so interested in Japan. So I knew at some point in my life, like it's my dream to visit Japan. So as I grew older, I finally went to college or university. I went to university. And I double majored, so I did one in neurobiology and Asian studies with the focus of Japanese.
Oh.
My
God, you are smart.
So random. I was like, I want to be a doctor, and I also want to go to Japan. So, so I was studying Japanese in college, while also studying biology and neuroscience at the same time, and organic chemistry. Like, it's a rough class. And eventually I decided to study abroad in Japan. So I was a junior. So my junior year of college, I went to Japan. So my university had an exchange program with Nagoya University. So I went to University of Cincinnati, and Nagoya University had an exchange. So we oftentimes get a lot of Japanese exchange students. And then vice versa, like Nagoya would get American exchange students, and not many people know Nagoya, but it's
I've been there.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When did you go?
Oh, in 2017.
2017. Okay.
Yeah.
Not many people know about Nagoya because it's actually like the third or fourth largest city in Japan.
I think I flew into Nagoya. So I guess that's why I ended up there. I wanted to go to Kyoto, and it was fairly close, so probably the cheapest ticket.
Cheapest ticket. Makes sense. Not many tourists go to Nagoya. Even when I meet Japanese to this day, like I met a guy from Japan at Nomad Summit, And even then I was like, oh yeah, like my first time in Japan was in Nagoya. And he's like, why? You know? But it's the third, fourth largest city in Japan. Like it's like 5 million people, I think, or something like that. Like a huge population.
It's almost the population of my country.
Right. It's like, oh, why would you go there? But yeah, it was cute. But I kind of lived in the outskirts, so it was kind of a cool experience because it was very much like a rural, almost like very authentic Japanese experience.
Would you say you went there to study?
Study abroad, yeah.
Study abroad.
Exchange.
But how and did you find a school or how did that work?
Yeah, so it was a program combined with my university and Nagoya University. I went to Nagoya University of Foreign Studies, but they had like an exchange program. Yeah. So they would send students from Nagoya to my university and vice versa. So it was through my school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it was already like set up. Like there was dormitories you could do apartments like specifically for like foreign exchange students. And so I decided to stay at the apartment, which was slightly more expensive than the dorm, but more freedom because there was no curfew. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was just that easy because of the program exchange we had together.
As far as I can calculate, it's almost upside down time-wise from Cincinnati. It's a 12 hours difference, just about. So it's on the other side of the planet. That's far away.
But my dream was to go to Japan. Like, my dream. There was nothing that could keep me from not going to Japan. And one thing about me is, like, once I have my eyes set on something, I will make it happen. Like,
You also needed to buy a plane ticket. Did you have a trust fund or
no.
work?
So I have a scholarship.
Because you're smart.
Thank you. So I had a scholarship, so that helped a lot. Yeah. But no, pretty much I put myself through college and everything, right? So like I said, I didn't have a good relationship with my mom, and unfortunately, I don't have like much of a connection with my family. It is what it is. But for the most part, I've kind of had to take care of myself. And I just had this gravitation towards education and knowledge. And so that kind of just was my motivator to sort of like escape the environment I was in because it was such a toxic environment.
Okay.
That I was like, okay, I know that education will get me out of there. So that's why I studied really hard, and that's why I was like, maybe I'll be a doctor because I want to help other people. But I think for me, like even in college or even in Japan, I like really valued people. Like I've always been like a big lover of others. And I think I had this huge appreciation. So even if my family situation isn't necessarily positive, I still found value and love and comfort from knowing others. And maybe it's just like my innate personality, like, because a lot of times when I tell people, maybe even in more detail, my story of how I grew up, a lot of people are very surprised or I came out like very much like not in drugs or some kind of negative environment. But I think I just always knew like that I wanted to do something more, and I wanted to do something good, and I want to do something from like love and the things that I appreciate. And I also knew that I didn't want to harm anybody else. So I think that all that factors into like my drive for things as well. Yeah.
So drugs or books?
Drugs or books. I mean, yeah, I chose books.
Yeah.
But I think it paid off, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm here.
But you didn't end up being a doctor.
No, I studied abroad in Japan, and then I came back. But that trip was really eye-opening for me because I met people from all over the world. Like,
you got the travel bug.
The travel bug. I was like, oh, there's more to this world. Like, I go to Japan, I'm like, wait, there's other people from other countries, and I want to know more about them. And I want to know more about who they are. I want to know more about their culture, their language, their history, because I'm a knowledge seeker. Like, I'm driven a lot by knowledge as well. That's actually one of the main reasons why I travel. So I was like, oh my God, I have to go to all these other countries to see more now. It's not just Japan. I learned there's a whole world out there. So yeah, when I went back to the US, I wanted to continue to be a doctor, but unfortunately, like, as I got older, I learned, because when you're young, you're very like motivated and happy. And I'm like, I want to help people. But then I learned that the medical field and system in the U.S. is made for exploitation and harm of others. And so...
Explain that.
So the American healthcare system, it's just not good, right? Like a lot of people, I feel like, will tend to agree. It's just very expensive. It's very inaccessible.
Yeah.
Health insurances are very expensive. If you don't have health insurance, then you can't afford to get the help you need. So a lot of Americans will just tend to be sick. Like, even if they hurt themselves, like, even if they shatter their elbow, you know, like, they will do anything in their power to not go just because it's so expensive. Medical debt is also number one debt, as well as a reason why a lot of Americans tend to drive themselves towards suicide. So the American healthcare system is driven by profit and privatization of corporations and the insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies. And so, and as doctors, because I had friends who are doctors who literally was telling me, like, Daycia, you're such a bright person.
Don't be a doctor.
Don't be a doctor. Like, this will drain you. Like,
coming from a doctor.
From doctors, multiple friends. And they were just telling me that, once you become a doctor, so to become a doctor is extremely expensive in the U.S., right? You have 4 years of a university, 4 years of medical school, and 3 to 4 years of residency. Yeah. And if you want to specialize, it's even multiple years of that. It's medical school is like a lot of doctors come out like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. But once you decide to pursue that, right, now you are working for the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies. So a lot of my doctor friends was pretty much like, even if I want to leave, I can't because, right, I have all this debt that I need to pay off, right? So I pretty much am just a slave to the insurance companies. Mm-hmm. And so even if also they try to help, like, with preventative measures, it's actually very discouraged by, like, the higher ups to actually, like, prevent health, and instead to push pharmaceuticals and pills and surgery because they make more money based off how much surgeries and pharmaceuticals they prescribe. So they have to reach a quota, pretty much. So you're not supposed to actually help people because it's a business, right? Wow. Not care. I mean, that's the U.S. So yeah. America's a business. That's how we run everything, unfortunately. Yeah. I guess it's good if you want to make money, but it's not good for your average day person. And I didn't want to participate in knowing that I'm going in to help people, not necessarily to make money. So knowing if I had went in, I would be harming people instead, and it would be hurting me as well, right? Because now I'm doing something that I don't want to necessarily do, and now I'm not happy. And a lot of doctors in the U.S. are very unhappy and very depressed. So, yeah, I decided not to.
So you followed the doctor's advice.
I did.
Not to become a doctor.
Yeah, to not become a doctor, yeah. So.
But that was your dream for a long time, and then you're like, okay, what do I do then?
Yeah. Well, my dream is to help people, so I think I was like, well, if I can help people in other ways. So I graduated in 2015 from university, and at that time, actually, some of a pivot, but I was playing competitive gaming, thing called esports. I'm a big gamer. And okay. I was traveling around the country.
That would not have been my first guess.
Yeah. So this was kind of like one of my jobs throughout college, is playing this video game.
That was your job?
That was my job, yeah. And I was traveling around the U.S. and actually I got the chance to go to Sweden and England to also play. But so in 2015 when I graduated, it was enough to sustain myself. So I just kind of continued on to do that for about 2 more years. But even as I was doing my gaming, and I was also making content around that too. I was like a live streamer.
Twitch?
On Twitch, yeah. I had a Twitch stream. But, you know, even throughout my streams, I would tell people like, yeah, guys, I really want to see more of the world. Like, I would always, back in my mind or like my heart, I still wanted to see travel.
Still reading travel books.
Yes. Right now I can use the internet. So in 2013, I went back to US. 2013, I decided to take a mega bus or like the Greyhound. Do you guys know? Okay. To Canada because I just wanted to see the world. Then 2014, I did a summer month program in Guatemala, even though I don't speak any Spanish. Uh-huh. So deep down, like I wanted to continue to pursue these like little travel things because that's something that was really into me, right? And then I went to Sweden and London.
Why did you choose Guatemala?
I want to see everything. Yeah. I want to see everything. I don't care what it is.
Most Americans, they would go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, Guatemala. It was Guatemala.
Guatemala is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And Tito's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful, yeah. No, I wanted to see the world. I don't care what it is. I want to see and learn as much as I possibly can. Guatemala was interesting too, because I was there for a month and I was doing like an exchange. So I was staying like with a host family, like sort of Antigua, like, but not in the city, right? Like I had to take the chicken bus, I had to walk down like the dirt paths. It's very like an authentic experience. But I think it was also eye-opening too, because I think that was the first time I've seen a country where like the poor is obviously very poor, especially like seeing children like trying to sell you cigarettes or something of that sort, right? And apparently Guatemala is like one of the highest of like income inequality in the world. So like there's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's very wealthy people there and then very impoverished people there. I remember
my guess would have been India.
India, yeah, I mean India's up there too. But I think India's also like a large amount of impoverished. Yeah. But yeah, it was for the first time I remember seeing like there was a street, and one side of the street were the slums and the other street was just like these nice houses, and I was just like, wow.
What a contrast.
What a contrast. And there was this museum I went to that had like artwork that was kind of speaking against like capitalism or like American imperialism. And, because America also played a huge role in like destabilizing the Guatemala and a lot of Latin South America, whether if it's through instilling coups or just a lot of destabilization and power and control, unfortunately. So as I travel more, the more I learn about like, obviously US is usually not the good guys in a lot of countries and spaces. But I think that also was really good for me to see because, again, like I want to know as much as I possibly can. And I mean, I grew up poor as well, but then, there's also this type of poor, which is a different kind of poor.
Oh, yeah.
So it was eye-opening. But I mean, I want to be aware of these things, I guess. I don't want to be like ignorant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
So the gamer went to Guatemala, Sweden,
Canada, London. Then 2017, I quit gaming because I was like, I want to pursue my dream of travel. So in 2017, I sold everything. And then out of a
That's a story I've heard before.
Yeah, man. All of us sold everything.
Bought a one-way ticket.
Bought a one-way ticket and traveled again. So yeah, I bought a one-way ticket back to Japan. So this is my third time in Japan. So in 2012, I studied abroad. 2015, I went to Japan because that's when I graduated. So it was more like a graduation celebration for me. Mm-hmm. And then 2017, I sold everything, went back to Japan. I have friends there. I know the language decent enough. And it's familiar for me. So Japan usually tends to always be my fallback when it comes to countries that I go to.
So you really speak Japanese more than just arigato?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you speak a little?
Nope.
¿Nihongo sabemasu ka?
Nope. Hablo un poquito español. Pero...
Oh, español! Sí. No, I don't speak any. Yeah, so I was going to go back to Japan. That was my default. Went back to Japan, 2017. I was there for a month. Then I obviously wanted to see the world, so I went to Taiwan, and I came to Thailand, to Bangkok, the islands, came to Chiang Mai, fell in love with Chiang Mai, so I stayed for like 6 months. And then I always wanted to go to Korea, because I had a lot of Korean friends in college, because throughout university...
South or North?
Oh, guess which one. Yeah, South. South Korea. I mean, me and Kim Jong-un are like besties. But I had a lot of Korean friends in university because I volunteered a lot with the international students in college. So I always wanted to go to Korea. So I decided I wanted to stay a long time in Korea, but there was only 2 options you could do, either teach or study the language. Yeah. I decided to teach because I was like, well, one of them pays you, and the other one you have to pay. So I had to get paid. So 2017, I'm in Thailand. 2018, like February, I moved from Thailand to Korea to teach English. And I wanted to do it for a year. But then I really liked it so much. And like, it's such a great setup because it's like free housing. So I actually ended up moving to Seoul. And actually, it was very fortunate for me because apparently there wasn't many Seoul positions. But I managed to get one, which was really awesome. But free housing in Seoul, I had like the highest floor of my apartment building. So I got to overlook the entire city.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. In my apartment, like usually when you teach English, you like adopt like the previous teacher's things. Mm-hmm. But my apartment was completely like blank and brand new. So then I got to order everything I want. They gave me like a 2,000 USD like budget to order whatever I want for my apartment. It was like such an amazing setup.
Wow.
That I was just like, why would I leave this? Like everything's free healthcare, which I'm not used to as an American. So, and then, yeah, I mean, the setup was good. And I think to me, that was a really good lesson for me as well, because now I'm solo traveling, but I'm also solo traveling in a place for a longer period of time. So it's good for me because I personally got to have a lot of deep reflection with myself. But also I really liked being a teacher. I had elementary school students, and I felt like I was really learning a lot from them. You know, I'm a teacher teaching them, but I feel like they were teaching me as well.
Yeah.
I think too, you know, kids are very authentic and like in the moment, and they're just things that I really appreciated from that. Just seeing them be their genuine selves.
How old were the kids?
Elementary. So I taught for 3rd to 6th grade. So at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. Yeah. So it's a perfect age, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're not like middle schoolers yet when it's like gets pretty rough because of hormones and puberty. But they're like old enough where it's like they can kind of have coherent conversations. So yeah, so it was perfect. But yeah, they were like very sweet. I feel like I learned a lot just from the children themselves. And then I learned a lot about Korea. Like when I travel, I really try to genuinely connect more with the culture. So obviously I was picking up the language and studying as well.
Picking up another language.
Why not? Why not? You know, learning more about Korea, like understanding the history. Yeah, how did the language even came to be, right? Like I really am fascinated about like how societies are. And just, yeah, like the history and things of that sort.
Korea, South Korea versus Japan.
Everyone has.
How's it different?
Yeah, they're completely different countries. So there are a lot of similarities, of course. I think societally wise, they're very different. And to me, that's like the most obvious. Koreans are, I would say, a bit more open, extroverted. They're more likely to talk to you. Right? They're more likely to be like, oh, like, where are you from? Like, I want to practice English. Like, let's chit chat, right? Japanese people are more reserved, more introverted, more quiet, and more to themselves. So even like the way like restaurants and things are set up, right? In Korea, it's very common to have like community style restaurants. And even if you're by yourself, a lot of times restaurants won't take you in. Uh-huh. You need another person to be with you. Whereas Japanese tend to have more like solo, like, style restaurants.
And very quiet.
Very quiet, yes.
The last time I was in Japan, I was in a capsule hotel in Tokyo.
Capsule hotel.
And there was this area where, like, for breakfast and, like, people would sit with their computer and stuff. And every day from 5 p.m. to midnight, they had an open bar.
Wow.
So at one point, I counted 25 people in there, and it was dead quiet. Wow. Nobody was talking.
Yeah.
In my country, especially after a few drinks, we'd be laughing, and joking, but no. It was so quiet.
So quiet in Japan. Yeah, Japan, you know, and it's very interesting, right? Because I feel like Japan has a lot of kind of unspoken rules. Mm-hmm. Right, pros and cons, there's no perfect country, but I think, you know, Japan can feel a little bit, I think, disconnected in that kind of way too, right? Because they're not really interacting as much.
I feel it's a place, unless you speak the language, to make friends with the locals.
For sure, yeah.
Also because nobody talks.
Yeah, no one talks. It's very hard. Yeah, I'm very grateful that I've made friends in Japan, but I've made them because of my college and things like that. Even like I went back last year. But it's a
fascinating country, and so is Korea.
Yes.
Both north and south.
How have you been in north? I've always wanted to go. Yeah. Did you do like a tour?
Yeah.
How was it? Like what?
It was super, super interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so different than anything I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Was it like how it like perfect looking on the outside and?
Yeah, and obviously we would have to be with the local guides all the time, and we couldn't even go for a walk outside the hotel without a local guide. So they only showed us what they wanted us to see.
So that makes sense. Oh my God, I want to do that so badly. I want to see.
Yeah. Would you at this point qualify as a nomad because you stayed in South Korea that long?
A slow mad.
Very, very slow mad.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very slow mad. I mean, even I came to Thailand in November, and it's what's February? Going on March.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say like maybe in Korea I probably was more like a local at this point because I knew Korea like the back of my hand because I stayed there, so I liked it so much. I stayed a second year, and then I had planned to leave my third year, and then COVID hit.
Oh.
So then I just decided to stay for a third year because it was either that or go back to the U.S.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, no, I'll just experience COVID in Korea, and I'm so glad I chose that because Korea was like one of the better countries to be in during COVID. And America like did not handle COVID very well, so yeah, it was very
But after 3 years, you left. Where did you go?
After 3 years, I left. It's still COVID, so it's 2021. So I had no choice but to go back to the U.S. Yeah, so I went back to U.S. Moved to New York City because I always wanted to live in New York City, so why not? So moved to New York City for a little bit, and then I moved to Houston. It's a lot cheaper than New York City. Then I started my photography business in Houston, and then I pretty much was running that for 2-3 years.
Is that what you do now?
So yeah, I still run my photography business, and I do social media marketing. Okay, so I'm in Houston, and I do photography for fun because that's how I document my travels. But you know, other people were like, "Oh, you should really consider like pursuing this as some kind of job or something because your photos are really good." So I was like, you know what, why not? So I decided to get into wedding photography. Someone just told me like they recommended to do wedding photography. So I was like, okay, why not? Because I had a friend whose wife did wedding photographies, and she really recommended it too. Mm-hmm. So I decided to shadow like a couple wedding photographers, and I was like, oh, this seems cool. So I just decided to build it up. So started from scratch, doing free shoots. Eventually, I would charge, but I would charge very low.
It's not exactly a nomad job.
No, but I made it a nomad job. And I think that's the thing with starting your own business. And from there, you know, I've learned a lot too. But pretty much like how I set it up was I had a very specific style that sold me apart from most other wedding photographers or just photographers in general. I would do weddings, couples, general portraits. So I set myself apart because it is a bit saturated.
What was that style like and how was it different?
So for me, I'm more like I will tell your genuine story that you would want to remember. So for example, like at a wedding, if a kid drops a piece of cake and they're crying, I would take a picture of that. I would take a picture of the kid crying or the picture of the cake on the ground, right? Most people wouldn't take that as a photo, but it's part of the story, right? The kid dropped the cake and kid's crying or some kid is in a corner or like maybe the mom is like hugging the cousin somewhere that you don't usually see, but I see it because I would say I'm a pretty observant person. So that's how I kind of set myself apart. Also, when it came to client meeting or meeting couples, I don't know, I was very genuine in learning more about them because I like people. And I think, you know, that also kind of helps in business and sales, right? When you can connect with people. So I listened to more of like their story and just like being like, okay, this is very important to you. I want to make sure I capture this for you, you know? So I think a lot of couples feel very connected with me. Sometimes I would even meet them for like coffee or lunch. So, you know, it's kind of just going above and beyond a little bit more. So then what I would eventually do is I would train people under my style. So I would have photographers follow me and I would train them my style. So I left in 2025 last year. And so I was doing both my photography job and I also was doing social media marketing for a company. But when I decided to leave, I was like, okay, I'm going to set this up now where I have a small team of photographers that I've trained that knows my style. And then I will still edit the pictures. So, because, you know, you also have your own editing style. Yeah. So couples I would be front facing. So couples will come to me or anyone asking for photos. And then I would have the photographer, once they decide to book and sign a contract, I'll have the photographer come out and shoot. And the photographer will then send me the photos online. And then I'll download them online and I will edit them, my style. And then I send it over to the couple. So for the team that I trained would only go out just to shoot only. So that's it. That's all they do is they shoot. I mean, and then obviously like I make a little group chat and I keep us like all in a loop. So it's interesting when it's like 1 a.m. and I'm just like double checking to make sure everything's okay. And I'm like, because it's 1 a.m. here, right? But in the US, it's like 1 p.m.
And they still do also weddings?
Yeah, the people the people who work under me, they also have their own little...
And you told them to look for the kid crying.
Look for the kid crying, yeah. Make sure if there's a kid crying, take that picture and then help them.
I guess I'm not going to ask, I guess you're in your early 30s and you still have a lot of traveling ahead of you.
100%, yes.
So what's the goal for the future?
I've been in Asia for a while, for many years, so I really want to see more like Europe. I've always wanted to go to Africa. I've never done Africa before. Latin America. So I think I just want to spend each year in like different continents. Like maybe Asia would be like a place I'll come back to and come out of. But for example, summer, I'm going to go to Europe. I get 3 months there. If I can find some kind of visa that lets me stay longer, then I would try to stay longer. But I think that's pretty much the goal, is like to see as many countries as I can, because I want to just learn and connect more with people all over the world. So yeah.
And just before we started recording, when I mentioned I was from Denmark, you said that you found something with based on when and where you were born, and that you can actually have. Is there a name for it? Your soul place? The place that you would belong the most? And you said that you did that, and in your case, it's Denmark.
Denmark, so I have to go.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
have to
number
go.
one, it's like Denmark. It's like you belong in Nordic countries. It says Nordic or Eastern Europe is okay too, but it was like, but you would shine the most in Denmark.
What is that theory? I never heard about it, and where can I read more about that?
Yeah, astrocartography.
I want to find out what my special spot is.
Can I look up the word real quick so I make sure I'm saying it right? Astrocartography. Oh, there we go. Astrocartography.
Astrocartography.
I guess it's a thing if you're really into like the planets and astrology. So I'm still learning. I don't know that much about it, but my friends are always telling me I should do it, so I did it. And it's based off like your birthday and then the time you're born, and then it's like based off the planets and the energy and stars. These are places that align with you the most, and to me it was like Copenhagen was my number one. So
in a previous episode of the Nomad Summit Podcast, I was speaking to a woman named Fusa.
Okay.
And she said that she found that somewhere in Italy was her soul place. And I don't know if it was specifically that she was talking about, because at that time I tried to see if I can find out what is that, but it didn't show up like that. So now I'm going to look into it, and I will make sure to put that link to the website in the show notes for this episode, so everyone can go and find what is their special place.
Yes, I'd be curious to hear where your place is.
Maybe it's Cincinnati.
Maybe there's a reason why you go back.
So, Daycia, we're out of time. It was a pleasure to get to know you better, and your nomad story is so inspiring, and I hope it's been inspiring for people too. If people need a good photographer, how can they get in touch with you?
DayciaPhotography.com.
And that link will also be in the show notes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone listening. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends who also want to be inspired on an epic nomad journey.
Yes, do it.
See you later.
All right, take care. Bye.
Before we wrap it up, I'd like to say a few words about what Daycia said about Guatemala, because I've done a bit of research on that. It's absolutely true that when she was there back in 2014, the country had one of the highest levels of income inequality in Latin America. At the time, the gap between rich and poor was extremely large, and Guatemala was often mentioned in global reports about inequality. But since then, the numbers have improved quite a bit. And today, it's no longer among the most unequal countries in the world. That said, the divide between wealthy and urban areas and poor, rural and indigenous communities is still very visible, so inequality remains to be a big part of the country's history. I just wanted to let you know. And then a few words about the astrocartography that Daycia also mentioned. It's basically astrology on a world map. The idea is that the position of the planets, when and where you were born, can be projected onto the globe, creating lines that supposedly show places where different parts of your life might be stronger. Things like love, career, creativity, and personal growth. So, of course, I had to check mine. I went to a website and used a free tool to generate my map based on my birthday and where I was born. And what I got back looked like well, a plate of spaghetti thrown across the world. Lines everywhere, and I had absolutely no idea what I was looking at. So I did what any sensible nomad would do. I took a screenshot and asked ChatGPT to explain it. I'm sure that's not the right way to do it, but that's what I did. And the answer was actually pretty interesting. Apparently, one of the areas that align with me the most runs through Southeast Asia, especially right here in northern Thailand, where I'm spending quite a bit of time these days, and just got my first home base in 10 years. And for me, it's a place to produce podcasts, build a community, and be creative. According to the interpretation, this region is linked to communication and personal energy. In other words, storytelling, meeting people, and creative work. So, spot on. Another interesting area on my map runs through Eastern Africa, which should be connected to travel, exploration, and growth. And there are also strong lines through the Mediterranean and along the west coast of North America. Now, whether you believe these kinds of things or not, I did find it pretty funny that one of the places where my map is telling me that it works the best is exactly where I keep ending up anyway. You can find the free tool in the show notes and let us know how it looked for you. And finally, a quick update on Christoph. As you heard in the beginning of the episode, he had a scooter accident just before this recording. The good news is that he's already had his surgery and he's doing much better. He ended up staying a bit longer here in Chiang Mai to recover, but now he's back on the road with his arm in a sling. Right now he's in China, exploring what the digital nomad scene looks like there. He's basically on a reporting mission for the Nomad Summit Podcast. And if everything goes as planned, we will have 4 special episodes coming up where Christoph travels around the land of the dragon, speaking with people in the digital nomad community. I've already listened to a few of the recordings he sent over, and I can tell you it's going to be really exciting. If you have any questions or if there's something you're curious about when it comes to the digital nomad life in China, send us an email on podcast@nomadsummit.com or leave a voice message on Telegram @nomadsummit. That's all for this episode. It was hosted and produced by me, Palabo. I also run a company where I produce podcasts, so if you need some help or just want to chat about how your podcast can sound better, reach out. Find out how on radioguru.co.uk. See you next week, where we hopefully go to China with Christoph. See ya.